in the future.
Yeah.
Well, and you deserve it.
Yeah, everybody does.
Oh, wait. My man just fucking opened a luchador flask and stirred it into his Mountain Dew from Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I just realized he's been waiting this entire time to do that move.
Okay. If only John and I could
James,
enjoy that too.
He is much like me. He loves the joke. Sweet luchador flask.
I didn't bring my camera. Somebody take a picture of that and shoot it over to John.
Yeah.
Want to ring the bell?
I'm taking it back. I'm taking them all back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm a loner, Daddy. Rebel.
I am the walrus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast where my friends prevent me from screaming like a little girl when a red ball hits a window, and instead forces me to watch movies. This week, we have with us Eric Largent.
Tally-ho.
We have Chris Arsenault.
The average speed of a normal person walking is 3.1 miles per hour. I'm just going to put that out there.
We have James Barrow.
Of course you'd say that. Let me finish.
And we have Colin McMillan.
It's good to be back, everybody.
Bones back in town again.
I feel so loved.
Yes.
I can feel you.
Are you singing Boys of Summer coming back to the podcast?
And I'm your host, John Barrow.
What?
So this week, we watched It Follows. After a sexual tryst, Jay learns that her date has passed on a lethal curse that can only be shed by sleeping with another unsuspecting partner. Starring Micah Monroe, Keir Gilchrist, Daniel Zavato, and directed by David Robert Mitchell. Also written by him.
Starring, it doesn't matter because none of these people are famous and you've never heard of any of them.
That's right.
Says
that
the
doesn't
actor
matter.
who's not famous and...
What?
Shade.
Hey, I haven't been an actor in a few years now, ever since I failed to become famous and relevant. So.
That's right.
That was some unnecessary rage, and I was just wondering what was driving it. Colin.
Hey man, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter who starred in it because you're watching the actor assume a character. It's not the actor, it's the character.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
And these characters are bored people who talk slow.
Well, as is John Hates Movies tradition, the person who picked the movie gets to go first, which is me, but I'm actually going to defer it because I'm actually a little bit more interested in what my friends thought.
Oh. I feel like this is the part of the episode where John's just worried that he's going to be wrong. So,
okay. All right. I'll walk that back a little bit, and I will go first. How about that?
yeah,
Mr.
bullying him.
Fancy
Bullied into
Pants?
going first.
That's right.
Catch
I have
me
been
out
bullied.
first. How about that?
That's going to be a timely joke when people listen to this 2 years from now.
Yep. Booyah.
Okay. I love horror films. They're dear to my heart. I watch them quite a bit.
Sorry, James just tagged this joke with a really half-hearted booyah and it killed me. Sorry.
That's okay.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm bringing it back.
Booyah.
No, it wasn't like that.
Booyah.
Yeah.
Was it like the sag of?
Yes.
Like, booyah.
All right. So It Follows. I thought this movie was absolutely fantastic. For a horror movie, especially one of the more recent ones, this came out in 2014, I think it was actually pretty solid. The pacing was slow, and the characters had a little bit of a flat affect, which did at times take me a little bit out of it. But when it...
Well, to be fair, they are from the Midwest.
Yes, that is true. This does take place in Michigan, outside of Detroit, slightly outside of Detroit.
Yeah, and occasionally in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. And occasionally in Detroit. But there is some very smart stuff that happens in this movie. A couple of things that I really appreciated is, first off, it did a great job at setting the tone. The scary beats were scary. The tension was pretty solidly, and I wouldn't say masterfully handled, but it was very well handled. The build-up was, started out slow, got strong, and then when the scary thing happened, you got your immediate release, unless it was a continuing scary thing, and then that tension was still going on for the appropriate length. There wasn't too much in here that overstayed its welcome, and I really appreciated the tricks that the director used to make the part of you that gets unnerved by things stay unnerved.
You remain in constant fear of having your leg humped to death the whole movie.
There's some interesting stuff. In some of the classic, really well-defined horrors like The Shining, you'll find directors like,
Stanley
God.
Kubrick.
Thank
Kubrick.
you, Kubrick.
Yeah.
Who does really subtle tricks to basically make you feel uncomfortable throughout that entire movie. And that movie is actually, I feel, and I don't know if you guys get this when you watch it, I feel that a good part of that movie that makes that movie so effective is the fact that you're kind of feeling squirmy and weird throughout pretty much all of it, even in the downtime parts. So this movie does a pretty solid job with that. And some of the techniques that, when watching, that you want to look for in this film is that the time period in which this film takes place does not actually exist.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean when people are driving vehicles from 1975 but using a clamshell that has Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And TVs from the 1950s and that. Now, there are other little subtle tricks, too.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you too much, but so just for the record, you're citing the nebulous time period as a plus.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
the
nebulous time period is part of the thing that causes, when you're watching a horror movie, to cause a sense of discomfort. And I am almost 100% positive that is intentional. Just like...
Okay.
It was
no,
intentional.
I'm with you. I think so.
Yep.
I agree it was intentional.
Okay.
This movie takes place at all times between 1970 and 2017.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another element of it that I believe is also put in there for discomfort purposes is the fact that the seasons don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was September. That was a Michigan September.
It was. It though?
Well, that's true. The seasons
was-
don't make sense in real life. So
Well,
that was a
yeah.
Michigan September. It really was.
You go swimming in September?
No.
absolutely.
No. And it looked far too cold to go swimming when they were going swimming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
September 2nd? Yeah, you might go swimming.
So let's dial this back a little bit further. Let's look at the opening. The opening of the film, the girl, one of the girls leaves her house. She's in shorts. She's got on high heels. She runs out of her house. Outside, all the grass is green, and the trees are in full bloom.
Mm-hmm.
By the time she circles back around to her own yard, the yard is brown and there are leaves everywhere.
I didn't notice that.
Didn't notice
It
that either.
happens all throughout this movie. The seasons are constantly in flux.
Well,
Now,
that's just
you don't
Michigan.
think that's just because this is, I mean, it's clearly an indie movie with a fairly low budget. You don't think that that's just because they couldn't get their fucking act together to shoot shit Like, the shooting schedule was fucked up. You think that's deliberate too?
I think that's deliberate. I don't think it's. Don't
get the wrong idea. By the way, I really enjoyed this movie too. So I know I'm kind of like picking you apart here, but
no. I see where you're coming from, but I don't think that. I think that the rest of the choices in this movie would lead me to believe that a choice like that is intentional, because. Now, I'm fair to. I'll be the first to admit there's a lot of symbolism in this movie that I just don't get, and I'm not super great at interpreting like indie art house symbolism, like the importance of water in this film for some reason.
Unbreakable.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a shout out to it's a twist.
Hey,
but. So there's all that, and there is one other thing that I really appreciate about this film, which is it is a prime example of show and don't tell. And in horror, that is one of the biggest problems with the horror genre just across the board, is that the horror genre is a real huge fan of running up to you and telling you, don't go into that room because that's where the blah is and you can't go in there. And they do that for another 15 minutes. And then, of course, somebody goes into that room and that's why we're scared. This does not do that. This has very subtle tricks, like the fact when they go to the guy's house, the empty, broke down house, and she's looking at the
Faygo cans?
The Faygo cans, the home alarm system, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
At that point...
They were Faygo cans, too. That's a nice shout-out to Detroit, too.
Well, there's a lot of very good Michigan shout-outs in this movie.
And at that point, that's when you realize this thing has a physical form. It is not a ghost. It does not walk through walls. And that's not something that the character runs up to you and says, this thing isn't a ghost. It's got a form. You can hurt it, maybe. No, you put that all together yourself through the showing of the narrative.
Well, I'm not sure she puts it together.
Well, no, she doesn't, but that's okay.
What's hilarious is she doesn't, and her friends eventually do.
Yeah, her friends figure it out because they figure out it's not a fucking ghost, it's just invisible to them.
Yeah.
Like, good tricks for figuring out invisible things, by the way. So, like, kudos to smart writing for the side characters.
Exactly. So, with that in mind, with that one small little nod to the intelligence of the writer of this film, I have to believe that some of these other choices are intentional. And if they're all intentional, like I seem to think that they are, then I think that this is a really solid freshman foray into the horror genre, and I'm really looking forward to whatever this guy does next.
Oh yeah, we could have another Raimi coming up.
Mm-hmm. And that is my review. Is this worth a watch? Absolutely. Is it scary? Scarier than most, but not the most terrifying thing in the world.
No,
I wasn't scared at all.
It's not very scary.
I would say
being humped to death by a doppelganger that looks like your mom.
Yeah,
that's
that
pretty
was
fucking
fucked
scary.
up. But I think the most scary thing was that red ball out of nowhere. It's
that
probably
was
the only thing that made me jump the entire movie.
So in the interest of grouping the yays before the nays, I'd love to take it from here if you don't mind, Johnny.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
I too really enjoyed this movie, although I want to tell you I had a really rough start watching it, and let me take you through the beginning of my attempts to watch It Follows. This morning, I woke up and I get all settled in with my cup of coffee to watch this movie. I fire it up and like. First thing is the pacing's kind of slow and I'm still half asleep. So I was like right away, I was actually really turned off in the first 5 minutes. I was like, nah, I don't think this is going to be a good time. And then my cat threw up. And I was like, this might be the most interesting thing that's going to happen in the next hour and 40 minutes. And so like I had to pause it and chase the cat around because it wasn't done after one. And I want to tell you, I was really proud this morning because I managed to intercede with a paper towel before the cat barfed on the carpet. And I caught cat barf with a paper towel and it was disgusting.
I bet.
So then the cat ran under a table to do round two and it was just a bad time. So like I was in a really bad mood when I started watching this movie. I buckled back in and was like, okay, let's do this. Then The second thing that just took me right out of it. When they're on the date in the beginning and they're playing their little game, which is sort of the first reveal of the follower, her first guess is like that the dude would like to trade places with this guy who's on a date with a hot girl. I know that hot girl personally. That hot girl is Caitlin Burt.
Oh, that was Caitlin Burt.
That was Caitlin. You know her. The couple. I don't know if you guys were at the Smitty party that she came to, but like Caitlin Burt is a local talent spokesmodel in Detroit, who's a friend of mine, and she was the hot girl at the movie theater. and when they're sitting in the theater, that same extra, that same person I know, is right behind them, in between them. So I was like completely taken out of the scene because I'm like, that is definitely my friend in this movie. And sure enough, she's on the IMDb, and her name is in the credits under the extras because they actually list every single extra in the credits for this movie. Oh,
that was nice of them.
It was. It was.
Did that include the main actors? Because I mean,
shout out to CB. Caitlin probably would have done just as good a job as the lead, if not better, in this movie, because I do think that a lot of the performances were kind of flat, and I can only guess that was probably the choice of the director. I don't know why, because the pacing's really slow in the beginning, and I didn't care for that. But what really won me over about this movie, and Johnny touched on this a little bit, is there's an element to horror movies that I absolutely require, and that is horror has to have rules. Mm-hmm. And they must be followed. And this monster in this movie, whatever it is, I'm just calling it the follower, has a bunch of rules and they stick to them. It's not really clear why all the rules exist, but like you learn about the monster. The monster interacts with the physical world. This never changes. You close the door, the monster has to open the door. Like, it doesn't appear in your room. It always walks. It doesn't teleport. I understand why Chris mentions the 3 miles per hour, but like, yeah, well, okay. Maybe it can walk as the crow flies, but like, it walks. It must take a human appearance. It's never a dog, and it never looks like a monster. It always will look like a human. It's always visible to the victim whenever it's near. It cannot choose to be invisible. It always knows where you are. It never is engaged in any physical activity. So, like, if you're looking around at the people in the background, if somebody's got like headphones on, that's not the monster, and you can count on that. The monster,
unless the monster wants to throw an appliance at you.
It can interact with the physical world if that is the only way it can harm you.
Yeah,
but it can kick in the door. But when it's following you, it's not doing anything else. The only time it ever interacts with it deliberately changes things around it is when that's an obstacle to get to you, or that's the only effective way of harming you. And apparently, it won't go in the water. Not willingly.
Which I don't understand anything that actually indicated that to them.
Nothing.
We don't get any answers on that.
But that wasn't the point of the pool. They wanted it to go into the water
because they were going to electrocute it.
Electrocute it.
That's why they were not trying to be safe from the monster. They were trying to lure it into a place where they thought they could kill it.
Yep.
You establish that the monster can be harmed when they shoot it and it falls down. Of course, what good does that really do? What I figured there, and so this isn't established, but my conjecture is that it immediately regenerates. What I think is the case with the monster is when it is in the water, it cannot regenerate.
Oh.
So the end is a little ambiguous. I chose to believe the person walking behind them is not the monster because even though he's out of focus, he appears to be looking around. And the monster doesn't do that.
He also has a relatively normal gait, and it seems like anytime the monster's walking, it's kind of an odd
shuffle. Yeah, a little doofy. Right, I agree. Oh, man, there's a great scene when they're at the school where the monster is there and they don't know it, but they've already given you enough information that as the viewer, you can tell it's the monster. And that is very good. That's quality. You know what's going on there because the movie has given you enough information to learn the rules of this story. So you can engage in it as the observer in a way that the characters actually can't at that time. And that is a huge bonus when you're dealing with horror and suspense. I wanted to compare to a couple movies, one we've reviewed and one we haven't, but this can be done incredibly wrong. And I want to use The Babadook as an example. The Babadook ain't got no rules. What is it? Is it a real monster or is it grief? You don't know. They never answer it. Is it both? We don't fucking know. Whatever, man. It's scary.
But it eats table scraps.
Right,
so.
like, or worms.
Worms.
Fucking,
Worms? Oh, right, that's it, yeah.
Or people, or what? See, like the Babadook, there's no rules. So even though there's a lot of very scary visuals in the Babadook, and a lot of great effects and good performances by the actors, I consider the Babadook very weak for a horror movie because it doesn't fucking follow any rules, and you get no answers. Another good example is they did the Nightmare on Elm Street series is generally pretty cool. I like it. But Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is the one that no one's ever going to talk about because it sucked so bad. And the reason is because they changed the fucking rules. And they went back on it and pretended it never happened. For those of you who have never seen it, in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, what they decided to do was, instead of Freddy Krueger being a dude who comes after you in your dreams, they decided that there's this kid who is now going to somehow become Freddy Krueger. And so he is like Freddy in the real world, and Freddy's like running around with his claw slashing people. But that's like kind of all he's doing because like all his powers are in the dream world. It's just really terrible. It's hot garbage. And and the reason for that is because they changed the rules. They tried to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
From then on, they always stuck to the formula. Freddy follows rules. He comes after you in your dreams. The reason he can do weird, crazy shit is because he's in your dreams. But
and you can do that weird, crazy shit too.
And not
Jada
only
just
that, but Freddy can only enter the dreams of people who have heard or know about Freddy.
Yes,
Or,
and that's
like,
a rule.
Yeah.
And it's never broken.
Yep.
If you've never heard about Freddy, you're safe from Freddy. So, like, yes, rules, very important for successful horror, in my opinion. And I think that the root of that is, as a viewer, you need to feel like you have some kind of control.
It offers false hope,
exactly.
if nothing else.
Which when people get killed, that makes that impact so much worse. So I'm going to I give this movie, It Follows a solid A for understanding how to make a successful horror movie. I did enjoy.
And the 3 out of 5 for.
Well, honestly, I thought it was pretty good because I recognize this is a low budget, this is a small project, and I think that they did a great job with minimalistic effects, and no big names to carry it, including the composer, like the for the score, which is sort of Nintendo-y, but it really grew on me. So I mean, I thought it was pretty good. Like, I really enjoyed it. Except for the whole, like, how does it kill you? So it sort of kills you in a weird sex act kind of thing. That was pretty weird.
That part was a little off for me.
It takes your vital essence.
Yeah, kind of. But also,
they're trying to steal our essence.
But also,
so I only stick to mineral water.
Oh God, is it organic mineral water? Yep. So yeah, like the whole thing about the follower, like, what's it going to do to you? That, like, it's pretty weird. Although it's interesting that the time that it kills the Greg character, it takes the form of his mom, and when it catches up to Jay in the pool, it takes the form of her dad. Yeah. Like, gross. I think that they're going for disturbing effect, which that makes sense. But
yeah, I mean, they mentioned that at the beginning
it'll try to fuck with you.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll
Before
take the
it
shape
fucks you.
of somebody that is going to mess with you.
Yeah.
I too noticed the nebulous time period of it, and I was like, okay, I need to know when this takes place, because you would absolutely, definitely Google this.
It takes place in 2017. Or when did this movie come out? 2014. It takes place in 2014. The director just took away all the kids' phones.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
except for clamshell
the
Kindle.
oddity of technology and stuff.
And they have those TVs.
Right.
Nobody has any of those TVs anymore.
And they're watching all old shitty movies, but this movie took place in the time that it was filmed. I don't know.
No, I think so too.
Yeah.
Which John pitted the nebulous effect of not a distinct time frame as part of the pros of it that it gave you a slightly unsettled feeling to add to, the suspense of it. Whereas I felt the way that it was presented really just clashed so hard that it was really just annoying.
Well, I'll give you that, Chris, because honestly, it did kind of bother me throughout the movie. I'm going, when is this? What's the deal? How is this one girl the only person with a modern device? And but then there's some modern cars flying around. But then there's cars that are seriously 30 years old.
But brand new.
Right, but brand new. So I guess I did kind of have a bit of a problem with that because if this takes place in 2014, you would definitely Google this. It'd be like a curse that I get by fucking somebody, and then you come up with some really weird porn. So
that's true. Other than the girl's weird clamshell reader, there was no computers.
Yeah, that was it.
There's one other issue that I had in this movie that I have in every movie, and that is people firing guns for target practice really need some fucking hearing protection. That is, it's just, they need to start doing that in movies because this bullshit has gone on long enough.
I'll tell you one thing. If you have no hearing protection and fire off a 45, if you fire off 4 rounds, you will not be able to hear right for at least an hour and a half.
All you'll be hearing is...
Yes.
And I mean, I guess...
to anyone who has shot a gun without hear protection,
I don't know.
You learned that lesson.
But I feel like this girl maybe was an expert at it because I saw her in the movie when they were doing target practice. She was shooting at boxes of cereal. She absolutely closed her eyes, scrunched both of her arms upwards before she pulled the trigger, but she still nailed the box of Cap'n Crunch. So I think maybe she knows what she's doing.
That's her signature style, bro.
Right.
She gets a sight picture, and it doesn't matter if she's looking.
So speaking of shooting, one thing that was a pleasant surprise, though, is I did think the effect when she first shoots the monster, when it's taken the form of a friend, I thought that was a good effect. It surprised me because I thought what was going to happen is it was this sort of shooting at it. Oh, it's not reacting. Oh my God, you can't hurt it. What's happening? Why? But then she shoots it in the neck and it goes down. And I was like, whoa, that took me by surprise. And that was nice. That was a good moment, I thought. All in all, I really enjoyed the movie, and it made me very curious about the monster, and I like learning the rules. I enjoyed it. If you want to see a fresh take on a new indie horror without a lot of flash, but plenty of disturbing stuff, I would definitely give it a try. I think it earned its 4 stars on Netflix.
Okay, so
it has 4 stars on Netflix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'll grab it from here because I have a decent follow up and not a whole lot else to say. So obviously anybody that's listened to the podcast knows I'm not good with horror movies. I don't like them. I don't watch them. Just don't do it. I don't care. This wasn't all that horrific of a horror movie. It was just kind of had creepy tone. Now, so Colin, you were talking about how a good thing they did in this movie was that the monster had rules and stuck to it. But so the girl saw this monster, and what was the name of the guy? Wade or somebody that gave her the disease?
Hugh.
Yeah.
Hugh. Yeah. So he had been observing it, and he gave her all the info that he had on it.
Yeah.
And then she observed it and saw everything that it does. So it walks towards you, disregarding all else until it gets to you and tries to kill you in whichever way it does. Okay, so it shambles at, let's say, 1.5 miles an hour or something. In this movie, every time the girl sees the monster, she doesn't look at it and try to figure out what's up with it. She just flips the fuck out and runs a little ways away, so that eventually the monster can
have plenty of time to catch up.
Well, eventually, in a couple hours, the monster's going to be there again.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, is going into my point is eventually going to be, and I don't want to bury the lead, but I thought the writing in this movie was pretty lazy. First off, so before she even gets the monster, she's sitting in her backyard, and her friend comes up to her and is like, are you going on a date tonight? And she's like, yeah, with Hugh. And she's like, and her friend's like, I don't know, good luck. I like him.
I like him. Yeah.
That dialogue was so not like what college age girls would say. It was like, oh, it just struck me as like middle-aged dude wants to have a scene with two girls but has absolutely no idea how to write it. I'm serious. Like all of the dialogue in this movie was written by somebody who hasn't been a teenager or listened to a teenager in for fucking ever.
Yeah,
like,
it should have come around me. I could tell him.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to be around teenagers anymore.
Yikes. Now that's horror.
Okay. So I thought all the dialogue was just not good. It just wasn't good. But the point, like the dialogue wasn't really the point of this movie, but the dialogue was bad. Now, every time she sees the monster, she runs a little ways away from it and then like just kind of waits for it to show back up again. Now, okay, this monster, like Colin accurately stated, has some like pretty hard rules. So if I like, and so this is another thing, it just like took me out of the movie how silly these kids were being about this monster. Because, okay, she doesn't need to run away from it. She doesn't need to sprint away from it like terrified. What she's got to do is go to Home Depot and buy a tape measure. And then get, and spread the whole thing out like 100 yards. And then like have the monster like start at one end of the tape measure and like she just leads it along with a stopwatch and fucking times how far the monster gets in 100 how long it takes the monster to go 100 yards and then figures out exactly how far she can go and exactly how long it's going to take for the monster to show back up again. Like those are hard rules that they just didn't even bother to figure out. And it's,
that's true. That's true.
It just strikes me as like so stupid that like you can't even take it seriously after
I'll
that.
give you that. Like driving
2.
45 minutes away and chilling there for ostensibly days. That's a bad plan.
Yeah, they had no
that is
plan.
a bad plan.
Their plans were stupid. So yeah.
Also, like go to an island. Come on.
Yeah, go to Europe.
You can do whatever you want.
Move to Britain.
Like, but there's a way to be smart about this, and there's a way that she could have lived the rest of her life without ever having to worry about the monster. Ever.
I'm sorry. As you're talking
not
about
even
this,
like a problem.
I didn't even think about this, but now I'm imagining a bunch of scenarios. I'm imagining Forrest Gump 2, It Follows. I just kept walking and walking and walking. And, like the monster's just sort of following behind him slowly.
Right.
Forrest Gump like walks really quick, like 5 steps back and just stands there. The monster gets a little close. He does it again.
Right.
Like in front of Mount Rushmore, in front of the Washington Monument, in front of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
or for that matter, like a person, I'm finally in Britain, and then like it shows the monster like getting onto a plane and sitting down.
Yeah. See,
dun,
now,
dun, 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 dun.
right. So I thought about this too. You wouldn't want to get on a plane because the monster could follow you onto the plane, and while you sit down, then they close the door, and then the monster is on the plane with you. Yeah. You don't want to get on a plane. What you want to do is just figure out how long it's going to take for the monster to walk from Detroit to fucking Los Angeles, fly or like drive to Los Angeles, chill there for as long as it's going to take, then drive back.
I thought that too.
You don't have a monster problem anymore.
It's even better than that, Eric. What you do is you go to Las Vegas, you fuck somebody, or you go to Los Angeles, fuck somebody in Los Angeles, and then the monster has to walk to Los Angeles, kill that person, and then walk back to Detroit to get you.
Oh, okay, no. So if I had the monster problem, I probably wouldn't have sex again for the rest of my life because I want to know for sure where the monster is or what it's up to at all times. Like, I don't want to just pass it on to somebody else and like be relaxing, and then all of a sudden the monster bangs me to death. You know,
like that guy when he saw her in the theater. Oh, whoops!
Right,
yeah.
Right. Because like what I suspect is that girl in the first scene of the movie is like his boo for a minute. Like, that was a girl that he plowed while he was in that town, and so when he was on a date with Jay, it was like that girl in the yellow dress. What? Oh shit!
Yeah. Yeah. So like, you just.
This is like that snail.
I know.
I'm saving it because I know Chris has some material on that.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But so there's a way around this, and you don't. So once we got to that, the only scary thing about this movie was like just being afraid of how stupid the kids were. But the monster itself, like, even though it's a little unnerving and like weird, it's not scary. It's not scary. It's just walking at you. Like, it's not a problem.
It's slow, and it takes a physical form.
Yeah.
It's not scary anymore, because if it has those limitations,
it's not.
As soon as like she shoots it in the head and it goes down, you can stall it, maybe not stop it, but it has weaknesses.
Okay, so they never try to like lock him in a closet,
right?
I wondered about that. I did wonder about that.
Yeah,
they never tried to like cement him into like a basement and then just cement over it.
Dig a giant
like
pit.
it's just
it's not stupid.
This is a monster for which locked doors are a problem, but it is incredibly strong, and it's not stupid.
Like, it just like all she needs to do is rent a fucking cement mixer, get the monster down into a basement, and then fill the basement with cement, and the monster cemented into the basement, and bang, you're done. The problem's over. Like, come on, this just so the okay, and so it's just it just struck me as dumb. Now, the direction of this movie was good. He was good at making spooky, kind of atmospheric stuff. Like, he did it with the music, did it with the way it was shot, all that stuff. But it really felt like. Have any of you guys seen Drive?
Yes.
Yeah.
This felt like he was trying to make the horror movie version of Drive.
Yeah.
Where it's like very little bit of dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like there are neon colors. There's electronic music in the background.
Yeah,
that's
I can
failed
see that.
miserably because this movie was kind of entertaining.
Well, with all of that, because you touched on it, the whole point in Drive, it was supposed to push that this, again, it's modern day, but with that 80s feel.
Yes.
And for all of the visuals he tried to put into disrupt what we think it's supposed to take place, all of the soundtrack forced this 80s horror feel.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah. Yeah. So, now all of that being said, I didn't hate the movie. Like, it's interesting to watch. It just annoyed me, like the same way a lot of horror movies annoy me, because people in horror movies are just stupid. So they just do stupid things and get into stupid situations. And obviously that's true across the board. The only way horror movies work are if the main characters are stupid, right? Like, that's the only way horror movies usually work.
When
right?
I write a horror movie,
I'm
going to run it by you.
Pretty much everybody else.
Actually, I'm going to give Eric this one, Johnny. Like, typically the main character is incredibly stupid up until the last couple minutes. Like, the main character,
and that's
stupid. Like,
it's a lot easier to write a horror movie when the characters are stupid.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Then
I
they're
don't
more
think Jamie Lee Curtis was stupid
but she survived.
in Halloween. Right, she's a final girl.
Right.
The final girls aren't stupid.
Right, but
there's always
a whole hell of a
moment.
lot she could have done before the final moment.
I mean, it's just like they say in Scream.
true.
There's always a moment where they're running upstairs when they should be running out the door. Always. The final girl always does it. Like, the final girl is always really, really smart up until the final bit, and then she's really dumb until the last 5 minutes.
I'll be right back.
That movie's fucking sweet, by the way.
I like Scream.
Scream is a good movie.
Yeah, but anyway, that's about it. It's not bad. It's probably like, after all of that, I'm going to say it's the horror movie I've enjoyed the most in a very, very long time, because I don't enjoy horror movies. And there were interesting enough things happening in this movie. It helped that like I recognized the places that they were driving around and going to.
Yeah, that helps.
Even if like I haven't physically been there, I've seen, places exactly like that, because we've all been there. This was Michigan in September, and that was kind of cool to see. But and they're talking about crossing 8 Mile, and they're just all that shit. Yeah, it's interesting. It's not bad, but it's also not good. So yeah, that's me.
Who's next, James or Chris?
I guess I can go real quick, unless you're biting.
No, Chris looks like he's still doing research.
Okay, yeah, he's looking a little stoic.
Chris is building his case.
Yep.
Like fucking Thurgood Marshall over here.
Tell us how we're all wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched this movie last night, and you want to talk about distractions?
Oh boy,
there was a whole nother horror show going on.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yep.
James's bad day.
Some craziness. Yep. Yeah, there was some craziness that went on.
Makes cat vomit look good. I'm just saying.
I was going through the same thing right around when we were doing the Christmas episode 2015.
Oh yeah.
So if anybody wants to hear how weird I was under these circumstances, you can go back and listen to those episodes.
That was a high stress special, oddly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right. So needless to say, I didn't pay that much attention to it. But the good news,
so you're the real winner here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
All things considered.
Last thing, I think the monster was still walking after them at the end.
Yeah.
I think he's not done. They're all fucking idiots.
No.
They don't care. They're like 1 minute after this movie ends, she gets fucking killed by the monster.
Well,
because she's a fucking idiot.
No. 2 minutes.
Cement it.
2 minutes. Because 1 minute after he dies, then she dies.
That's true.
Right.
It has to kill him first.
Yeah.
That was one thing I was screaming at the screen, is why these people did not put any distance away from each other.
Or why they fucked when he knows he's going to get...
Because then they can all see it. It's like they all should have fucked each other. She should have fucked Paul, then Paul should have fucked the other two.
Oh boy.
No, yeah, okay.
One of them was his sister.
Well, okay, then his sister, then he fucks the other girl, that girl fucks Greg, and then Greg fucks Paul's sister.
Does this only work hetero?
No.
I was wondering that too. It seems like
in an interview with the director, he said it has no bias against straight or gay.
Okay.
Ooh. That means oral transmission.
Ultimately,
where's
this
the
movie-
line?
Exactly. He said, okay, sorry. I'm interrupting, but I have to get through this. I made the mistake of actually listening or reading through an article with the director, which pretty much any logical assumption that you can come up with to devise a plan against, he's like, that would never work. But almost everything people have asked him, he specifically tried to avoid exactly in the movie dictating what are and aren't the rules garnering around sexual whatever that will pass it on. Pretty much any sexual whatever, we'll pass it on.
So
last thing I'll say,
anything beyond
don't question it. Anything
beyond
just
heavy petting,
probably.
Last thing I'll say, this movie, what it's really about, super AIDS.
Yeah.
It is. This movie's about don't have sex with people because you're gonna get a curse.
Fucking AIDS.
Right? Yeah, sex
It
is
is
a
about
curse.
Super 8s.
Maybe it was about having kids.
Super.
Because
Yes,
you
it'll be
have
following
sex,
you
you have a
everywhere.
kid, it drags you down and
It
kills
will
you.
never leave you. It'll be humping your leg
It
forever.
can only go about 3.1 miles an hour.
And the only way you can get rid of it is fucking somebody else. Oh no!
Either kids or super AIDS, but that's what it was really about. All right, James.
I'm going to go with kids.
God, no. Okay, you're making me want to make jokes I can't make on the pod.
Make some jokes.
Oh,
Yeah, we have an editor for this, you know.
About how AIDS jokes?
Do it.
They're great on the pod because they go viral.
Even
though they're retro.
That was...
Don't do it.
Wow.
Well, we tried James making jokes and we decided against
Okay,
it. So.
past the jokes. Go ahead.
All right, so, like I said, I didn't pay much attention, and luckily for me, this movie was slow enough that I really didn't have to.
Yep.
So, like honestly, I liked it for the most part. It was like they said, slow pacing, but I think that worked to kind of create the atmosphere and stuff. It was kind of weird for her to have the clamshell like thing. First off, the clamshell
Kindle
reader is freaking cool.
Yes,
it was cool.
Yeah,
I
right.
want one.
I mean, like, well, I mean, it'd be kind of, I don't know, effeminate to kind of have like a clamshell.
The
one,
idea of
still
having
want
Hey, there are man clams.
Oh, I would want one
think
like
they're
the Star Trek communicator.
There you go.
That would be sweet.
Computer.
Yep.
Hello, computer.
So, yeah, like honestly, I did think the monster was pretty freaky. I think my favorite part was the freakiest part was when like the first time she's at home and she sees the monster, and then like her friend comes over and she's like, "Who is it?" It's me. And they open the door and she's like, "Whatever." And then that like really fucking tall guy appears out of the shadows.
That was
freaky.
Cool. That was pretty. That was
freaky.
freaky.
Fun.
Yep. That was freaky as hell.
That got a scream out of Millie.
Yeah.
That was freaky.
I was like,
that one got me. That one got me a lot.
Yep.
It's also so early that you haven't seen many forms that the monster takes. Right. So this like,
and it's just a big fucking
super
dude.
fucking Frankenstein dude.
And he just like walks nonchalantly in the room, like he's like coming to pick up groceries or
hey
something.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, so like, which is so weird for the situation that you're like, it does kind of like throw you in the kind of that surreal terror. Like, yeah, that's like my favorite type. Surreal kind of.
That was effective.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I'm not sure about like the ending, and honestly, I didn't even notice the person behind him at the end there. I thought the ending was just kind of like vague and anticlimactic.
It was vague.
And anticlimactic.
Yeah,
especially if you don't notice that they were like, you know, hanging us. I'm not sure what the proper term is, but they were like hanging something like a sword, you know, and being like, "Oh, is it going to fall or is it not?" You know, it's like
hanging Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it is like Chekhov's, but it's not appropriate.
Saying sword of Damocles.
Yeah, it is like a sword of Damocles, but you know, I guess what is it? I guess it's like the story of like the gladiatorial like gates, you know, where it just ends before like one of the gates opens.
Oh,
and it says that there's like a lion behind one of the gates. Yeah.
Lady or the Tiger?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yep. And so there's like pretty much it ends on one of those notes. And but I didn't see the guy behind it, so for me, literally, I was just watching them happily walk down the street holding hands, and I was like,
there's a guy behind him.
He's like,
and the reason it's ominous is because in the first shot, he's not there. Yeah.
And now, so she was holding hands with a guy with her cast hand. Now, at the end of the movie, how fucking grody was that cast?
Dude, sick. Also, I'm glad you brought that up.
Multiple times!
I'm glad you brought that up, though, because there's a lot of touching of her hand in a cast, and I'm like, dude, you know that shit's broken. Like, what are you doing? Don't
touch on, like, hands and knees.
Don't fucking touch that.
In the pool scene. Like, that, come on. Grody fucking cast.
I will give that a 4 out of 5 come-ons. Like, on the come-on scale, that's a 4.
Yeah.
Like, come on. We're all about scales here at John Hayes Movies.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I do kind of like so yeah, John, I have to say this movie actually did have something that you were talking about earlier, which is a horror scene in broad daylight. And it actually kind of worked. And like Colin said, when he got shot through the head and it fell down, I was like, that took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that. That was pretty cool. However, the scene just before that, when like the monster was holding her hair and they had the Invisifight, you see why they don't necessarily have those sort of things in broad daylight, because it looked kind of goofy. To see her friend just fly off and whoa!
I will appreciate that though, that they actually did a broad daylight horror scene.
Yeah,
like that's
they did a couple.
It goes along with the rules of the movie. Like this thing, it doesn't just come out at night; it's after you all the time.
Yeah, it goes with the rules of the movie that the fucking people that the monster's after are fucking idiots.
Yes.
But yet,
yes, this is not the time to be like chilling on a beach an hour from home. Because if you live in Michigan, you can get to a beach that's close enough that like the monster will still fucking be there. Yeah,
but they definitely didn't want to fucking go to Metro Park Beach.
No,
that place is grody. I've been there once and it was not good.
It's like that girl's cat.
Yeah.
So,
I know the people that hang out at Metro Beach, and they'd be much safer with the monster.
Yeah, but yet when the monster kills and has to go back down the food chain line or whatever the fuck, the transmission line there, the monster decides to take 7 days to cross the street to get to her house.
Uh-huh.
So, like, he's not always. I mean, he must be, like, getting a muffin sometimes.
Yeah, he's, like, taking a nap.
Yeah.
Getting some froyo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
going to her sister's froyo stand and hooking it up.
Going to the last remaining TCBY.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, like, honestly, yeah, I think if I were to, like, win the Powerball or something and get some, like, crazy millionaire money, I'd make It Follows too. And
it's still following.
Yeah, it still follows. Or
it followers.
Yeah, I think It Followers would be correct, because mine would be about a person who gets the monster and then just decides to fuck with the monster the rest of their life.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Like,
That would
flash
be a good
mob,
movie.
pin the tail on the monster. Like a bunch of people, like, pinning donkey tails on an invisible monster that's just trying to go after this guy. Like, paintball the monster, fucking join an orgy and just, like...
It's
Spray paint it.
Right. It's too bad
Street tag it.
It's too bad none of these kids vaped, because they would have been able to, like, see the monster coming through the clouds.
If we vape, we
cross
can
the highway, like, several times and just watch cars flip over the monster.
That's it, man.
Fucking Monster Frogger.
Yeah, Monster Frogger.
Monster Frogger.
Live stream it and take that. Like, there's so much fun you could have with an invisible monster that will do nothing but follow you.
Right?
No, yeah. Totally.
Or what you could do is you could fuck somebody and then follow it while it follows them.
Yeah.
You could follow it and be like,
it.
see how that feels? See how that feels? You see how you like it, follower.
Yeah, carry around wear a hat that's got like a spinning light and like a bunch of bullhorns on your shoulder. It's like, monster.
Yeah, but if it ever gets somebody, then you have to find somebody to sleep with real quick.
Yeah. Ooh, better ditch the alarma hat.
The worst would be like if you slept with somebody to pass the monster on it, and then you follow them around to follow the monster, and then they hooked up with someone else.
No.
You'd have to like watch them do it and be like,
you'd be like
come
the
on.
kid with the red ball on the roof creeping.
Yeah. Hire a hot air balloon.
Ooh, could you lift the monster into the air? Like if you roped the monster, because you could lasso the monster.
Hilarious.
You could
Pinata
lasso
monster.
the monster. Yeah, man. Like you could lasso the monster. Like you can by the rules. If you can throw a blanket over the monster, you can lasso the monster.
Right.
So it is incredibly strong. But how much does it weigh?
I will get to this.
You could lift the monster into the air
Chris
and
has
just
a whole
drag
bunch
it
of
off into the
equations
stratosphere.
written down.
I'm very curious about Chris's review, quite frankly.
Yeah, so Eric said that if he slept with somebody and got the monster, he wouldn't sleep with anybody ever again.
Correct.
And honestly, that is a true horror.
What? Somebody sleeping with me once, or me not sleeping with anybody ever again?
Call me. Take your pick.
I think it's your feeble attempt to be noble. That's the real horror.
It's not a nobility thing. It's a self-preservation thing.
Well, that's true. You definitely put it through that lens. You weren't like, I wouldn't want to put somebody else.
No,
through that.
I
You'd be
don't
like,
care
I
about
need to
other-
know where the monster is.
Yeah, come on. I don't give two flying fucks about anybody else getting killed by the monster. I don't want to get killed by the monster.
Also, I just want to mention what Good point about the plane thing. That was a very good call.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't thought of that. If the monster gets on the plane, you're dead.
Yeah.
But then the monster's stuck on the plane.
Go on a boat.
And
Possibly.
what is what if
if you say lead it away by a proper amount, and then give it time to like get to the other side of the state, and then drive back to the airport, kind of thing. Catch your flight.
Yeah.
It's not going to be right there. So you just got to be intelligent and know where it's at before you take that flight.
Yep.
But if you're talking about a complete minimalization of risk, you have to acknowledge the possibility that somehow the monster gets on the plane.
You could, like the one person said, never go in a room that doesn't have a second exit.
The monster following you got hit by a car and just like rode on the car's hood all the way back to the
it might do that.
Monster Frogger.
Right.
There's something on the wing.
But that begs the question. Now, say you sleep with an astronaut right before they launch into space. What does the monster do? Well, say that this person's doing like 180 days in the space station.
He just tries to jump.
He tries to jettison.
It climbs Everest. It climbs Everest.
Oh, you're probably right. It tries to get as close as possible.
Yeah,
again,
climb
you
Everest.
climb on top
actually,
and then like a glitch.
We're wrong. It would probably, because it's
it would follow the orbit.
Yeah, geostationary. It would follow it around as much as it could. That would be hilarious.
What we've also established is it would probably throw things into the air.
Monster just throwing shit straight up.
It would
was
be
just
throwing
a rash of levitating lawn
It
furniture.
would be very angry. Yes, it'd be throwing folding chairs into the stratosphere.
Look at Darla, my lawn chairs have gone popcorn.
Oh, yeah, speaking of throwing things at people, getting hit with an iron, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if it's not on. Like, that would hurt like a bitch.
For that scene, the best one was when it threw a chair at her.
Yeah. It fucking threw a steel chair. Like Eric in our fucking Crybaby review. came with the steel chair. It was like,
That's right.
woo!
Ric Flair's fucking back.
That's right.
Oh man, yeah. Yep. That would be my sequel. Somehow figure out to get into a human cannon. So yeah, I think the last thing I'll say is that the old movies that they're all watching. Honestly, I think that was merely a matter of budget because those were probably public domain.
Public domain.
That's what we could get the rights to.
You don't have to get the rights to them, so just put them in.
Yep.
But yeah,
make Paul a weirdo who likes shitty old movies.
And actually, I'll say one other thing is that I really, really super dug the soundtrack.
Me too.
The soundtrack was not only like really good and kind of unsettling for like electronica stuff. Like there was a lot of unique like kind of sound like textures and shit. I don't want to sound like a fucking fucking hipster. And all the sound textures in this thing is just really esoteric and unique.
Sound texture.
Yeah, but no, I mean like
you've probably never heard of it.
No, I haven't.
It honestly, because I think me and Eric both watched this documentary called like Made of Wires or something like that. Yeah,
I Dream of Wires.
I Dream of Wires. Yeah, and there's like a booming like homemade synth scene,
analog synths.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that this was made on analog synths because like none of the tones and textures that you heard come out of it were like from your standard Casio, Yamaha 80s.
He didn't push a key to get the sounds.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it was really cool.
Yeah,
it sounded really good. And not only that, but like during the credits when it played the music there, like there was an actual song there with like some actual like melody and stuff and like a theme. If you took like this and Turbo Kid and switch the soundtracks across, I think you'd get like a better movie for Turbo Kid.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably.
So, but yeah, overall pretty good. The water makes no sense, but enjoyable and eerie and a decent watch.
Okay. So, I don't know what any of you are talking about because I keep hearing this film referred to as good. As I say before, it has this odd sense of really, really wanting to be like an 80s horror movie. Mm-hmm. But I think either through design or this or that, he maybe to do the whole old movie thing, he did the old TVs just to make that kind of fit together. But it ended up creating this just clash of things that didn't add up and was more distracting from the film than creating an eerie environment. James said the music was good. My original notes say the music is terrible. I will take that back. The music itself was not bad. It lent itself a sense of unease, but more like the kind of unease you get when you are a kid and you're visiting an old family member who only leaves church programs on the TV. The score is awkward and uncomfortable, but not scary. The characters are dumb. They're all flat. All right. They're not smart.
Shouldn't.
They come up with more ideas than most do in typical horror movies, but they come up with this is a solution with no basis of understanding of how or why this would be a good idea. Why would luring it into a pool and electrocuting it work? And obviously they've never seen Mythbusters because they don't have any programming past the 1950s.
So that's too much water, it diffuses the electricity.
Exactly. As I say before, the average person walks approximately 3.1 miles per hour. So you're able to... the monster is able to traverse 74.4 miles in a 24-hour period. Nowadays, you can drive 75 miles in roughly an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, the simplest move, until you figure shit out, buy yourself some time. Drive an hour away, hold out there for like 20 hours, drive an hour away, hold out there for 20 hours, stay ahead of it. Now, if you want to watch it and observe it, this is really the way I would go about it. The key to the entire thing is proper testing.
Gotta take it out to the salt flats, Bonneville.
A series of tests to gauge its speed, strength, and resilience.
Yeah, man. Bonneville, the fucking land speed tests.
I don't think we're going to get above 3 miles an hour, but we don't know. We know it exists in a physical form. Even though it's unseen by anyone other than its victims. We've proved this multiple times. It can take bullets. It can get hit by shit. You can throw a fucking cloak over it. And I told James, if you spray paint it, you'd know where it is.
Yeah.
You could vape cloud. You could vape cloud behind you so you can see where it's moving.
If we vape, we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, if it's possible to try to tag it, you could shoot a LoJack into it. You could tie a GPS tracker to it, just so you can always maintain, like, say, a minimum 75-mile distance. So you always have a 24-hour period to escape. So you could try to LoJack it like a pet. Or you could, try to throw a flip phone with an extended battery in a fanny pack and attach it to the creature. But, of course, then you would have to swap up the phone or swap up the batteries, putting yourself at risk.
Just more fanny packs.
More fanny packs?
No. You have your friend who can't get laid do it. No risk.
Exactly.
No risk. Throw a blanket over its head, or it's already tagged.
You have someone else help you, so while it's walking towards you, they just walk up, unhook the old fanny pack, swap it. Obviously this does.
But we need a budget, though. We need a budget for fanny packs and burner phones.
This puts you in a slight sense of, okay, you could get, you're put at risk when you do the swaps or anything. Or here's the other part: we haven't observed it enough to know if it's smart enough to say, take off the fanny pack, or let it changes sizes
there are
forms
rules.
if it would lose
It
or
would shed the fanny pack.
It doesn't. It doesn't do that. There are rules. It will not. It doesn't do any physical activity other than trying to kill you. So it won't. It won't. It will not detach the fanny pack.
That's my other side. If you put a fanny pack on it and it's a big dude and it turns into a little kid, it will just fall off.
Here you go, though. No. Here's what you do. I got your solution. A fanny pack does not have to go on the fanny. It can go.
No.
It can go around the neck. It can go around the neck.
neck
Just hang it.
arm.
Just hang it loosely around the neck. You're good.
Right, but if it's crawling, it might still fall off. I'm just saying
And
it's
then, hey,
possible for it to dislodge.
Then you just tell all your friends, hey, keep an eye out for a floating fanny pack.
You gotta fucking tag it like
This
it's
is
a
the part
carrier
with the fanny
pigeon.
pack and possibly a problem with the low jack. Is it capable of dislodging these things? Which makes me wonder, is
I
this
feel like
creature
Chris should
walking
automatically
around,
win the game just for his review.
is this creature walking around full of spent bullets? Or has it slowly dislodged them out of its carcass like over time as it moves or as it transfers from,
Yeah, it's
This
like
is why a low
It's
caliber
Logan.
is,
It sets him back up.
I
desirable.
just imagine like an invisible mummy creature just like shambling cutlet that's made out of fanny packs.
That would be
Old
amazing.
shitty fanny packs from top to bottom.
Right.
Each of them with a phone inside, but it's just shambling along.
But the thing is, like, sometimes you're not going to be able to get a fanny pack, like, because fanny packs are certainly out of fashion. So, like, there's only so many dollar stores in your town. So, eventually, you're going to have to like hang
Understandably,
a.
you can use something other than a fanny
you're going to
pack.
have to hang a Coach purse off this motherfucker. This is getting very expensive.
Okay. So maybe we should do some observing and testing.
Right.
Speed. You can try doing a comparative with a vehicle or a bicycle that has a speedometer, because obviously you don't need to go that fast.
Monster
Be slightly
Frogger.
more safe in a vehicle.
Chris, I
closed vehicle.
have in my notes, by the way, I didn't get to it, I forgot, but I have in my notes, how terrifying would this be if it could ride a bike?
That would be awesome. Long story short,
It rides.
getting its speed or gauging its speed is simple enough.
Right.
But you need to, well, you can either make it more entertaining or you can do it for science, air quotes, science. You can get a field and have it walk across, put obstacles in the field to see if it tries to go over, under, or around. Try to gauge its critical thinking.
Now, see,
Right.
this is what my guy does before he like does all
Right,
that
I
other
realize
shit.
I am writing like the pre, like,
the beginning of
the
James'
beginning
movie.
of James' film
Like,
right
first
now.
he walks into a grocery store just to see if the auto door opens for him.
Hey, see, now we're talking.
Until somebody else walks into the store.
All right, so we know the creature has some.
This is a pretty fucking funny movie.
We understand the creature has some level of strength.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He's able to, throw objects, backhand people, force their way onto people, and but it's unsure if it's like always has the exact amount of strength or if it's based on the form it opts to take.
Uh-huh.
So we don't know that. But
Are you
further
suggesting
investigation-
that? Are you
Torque
suggesting
test.
that
Yes.
Jay's Bespectacle's busty friend is incredibly strong?
Maybe we don't know that.
Actually, we don't know that. She might be.
We don't know
She
that.
might be. She's not impervious to bullets, but we don't know the measure of her strength. She could be superhuman.
Exactly. But again, a series of barriers like locking it in a room, see if it's capable of breaking down a door, or capable of critical thinking needed to escape through that door, or tying ropes to it to see if it can break free or untie a rope, further testing its intelligence. Eventually, strength and resiliency start combining by trying to overwhelm the creature with immovable objects, like drive over it with a car and park it on top of it. Does it smallify itself to wiggle out?
Ooh, smallify.
Is it stunned by the hit? If you trap it, pin it, can you encase it? Can you cage it? Lure it into a prison cell or a concrete reinforced room.
My man.
Lure it into a pit, then slowly fill it with concrete
My
until
man.
you have locked it in place. It doesn't have to last forever. I know you guys remember the snail.
Yes.
You guys were
Yes.
both immortal, so you had to worry about that snail forever. You're only going to live another 50 years. That's all you got to get out of this.
Where mortality is an advantage.
My other issues with this film, you're not supposed to get cast sweat. Electricity and that amount of water dissipates too much to be harmful. They want to represent these kids as poorer or lower class or something, but they all have cars and nice homes and pools and are able to bail out and go off whenever they want. Seems ridiculous. Why didn't they give the girl the gun in the pool because she was the only person who apparently could shoot even though she closed her eyes? Didn't the pool kill it? Why did she sleep with what's-his-face? This movie wasn't scary or frightening. It was full of a lot of what the fuck, unexplained things, and Hugh was the only actually smart person because he had actually had a good handle on it and he spent some time observing it, and he should have used the distraction of the new victim to hunt the thing. And in conclusion, in the end, in the hospital, Yara's reading from her phone, reading parts from The Idiot. And the real monster in this movie is the person who put celery in her egg salad sandwich.
Yeah, man. I wholly agree.
I disagree, and you're a monster.
Egg salad with celery is the worst.
It's the best.
Celery.
Guys, I don't want to go into this. Let's go to something we can all agree on, like pineapple on pizza.
I love pineapple.
No!
That's fucking awful.
I
What do
love
you-
pineapple on pizza.
Terrible.
Pineapple on pizza.
You know, it honestly
alright.
depends on what mood I'm in.
Colin, you're the
Horny.
worst.
Yeah, Colin, you are the worst.
Pick a side,
Okay,
I'm
goddammit.
the real monster here.
So that's
Well-
my review.
Yeah, that is a stellar
Wonderful.
review.
That
Thank
was
you, Chris.
delightful.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it's going to be time for the game.
Hooray.
All right.
How many times has this happened to you?
Sweet! I'm all set to go. What? My Crebo box didn't charge. Now I'm going to be late again?
Hi, I'm Peter Hamlish.
And I'm Sven Hamlish.
And I'm Giselle Hamlish.
No
relation.
We're brothers. Sorry.
You know, Giselle, I can't live without my Crebo box.
Who can? They truly have become an integral part of our lives.
But the things can be so darn finicky. Failure to charge, faulty matter phase transpass, misaligned mindforge, you name it.
And God help you if you try to use it to quig lock a pugger pegger flange.
Absolutely. Well, your boss mans at Zigzag are proud to introduce the Crebo Box Enhancement Pack, a kit of Crebo Box peripherals designed to make your Crebo Box more functional and reliable.
And our pack comes with a Mobley charge unit so you can Crebo on the go.
If you call now,
What are you assholes doing? The Crebo box doesn't come out until 2125.
you mean we can invent the Crebo Box?
Don't look at me, mate. I have no idea how these things are made.
Well, shit.
Zigzag.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is now time for your favorite part and mine. It is time for the game. And as is John Hates Movies tradition, the person who picked the movie gets to run the game, and that is me.
Woo, Johnny.
Yes. So this week, we are going to answer the question, how dumb are they? By playing the game, which is basically, I'm going to ask the gentlemen a couple of questions. They are going to answer those questions, and the goal here is, as if this was a horror movie, I'm going to be providing them with a question or a scenario, and they are going to try and get themselves killed in the manner that is traditional for that horror movie.
Ooh.
Or for that type of horror movie.
All right, so good luck, guys.
Now, Eric, I think you might be able to get some of these.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
We'll see.
In fact, we'll start the first round with some fairly easy ones,
Okay.
and we'll start with you, Eric,
All right.
just so that people can kind of get a sense of how this goes.
Okay.
So, Eric,
Yes.
you have just killed the monster. It is lying dead at your feet.
Uh-huh.
What do you do to get yourself killed?
I call my friend up and I'm like, hey, everything's okay. I just killed the monster. We don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't know. Instead of like double tapping to make sure it's dead.
You're close. You're close. But it's not close enough for me to give you the point. The actual answer would be to check and see if it's dead.
Yep.
Oh.
Get real close.
Oh,
Yes.
and then its arm shoots up and grabs me around the neck.
I would have suggested try to take off its mask to see who it really was.
Right.
Oh.
That would
I was
also
going
work.
to say, first things first, turn your back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Then tell everyone everything's okay.
We'll scrap that first one. That wasn't for real points, but that was the good example. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for here.
Okay.
I think
All
2
right.
points for right answer, 1 point for half.
Wait, what? Okay.
No, this is going to be an all or nothing kind of situation. So,
All right.
James,
Mm-hmm.
you are cleaning out the basement
Mm-hmm.
of a house that you just purchased, and you find a really cool-looking wooden puzzle box. What do you do to get yourself killed?
Ooh, you solved the puzzle box while reading any ruins or writing out loud.
Yes, absolutely. James, you get your first point.
Exactly.
All right, Chris.
Okay.
Okay. You are running away from the monster. And you have just about reached your car. You're going to get in your car and drive away, but it's locked. What do you do to get yourself killed?
Well, first, I trip. Then I get up. I look to see how close it is. I don't continue to run. I stop, look to see how close it is. Then I run up to my car, check, realize it's locked. Then I reach in my pockets, checking all my pockets for my keys, find them, pull them out, try to find the key, drop it, knock it on the ground, scrambling, and I go to grab the keys and knock them under the car.
All right. You know, I am going to give you 2 points for that, Chris.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
All right. All right, Colin.
Yes.
You also have the opportunity to score 2 points here.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
It is a nice summer night. You are sitting inside in your living room, and you hear your dog whining, growling, and making slight chuffing, barking noises at the screen door. What do you say, and what do you do to get yourself killed?
Okay, I'm going to give you some background information before I give my answer. First of all, I have already had sex. Okay. With some, like, big-breasted bimbo, and our relationship doesn't seem to have much value. So, the dog's barking.
I thought that was just a given.
Well, I'm getting killed, right? So, yes, like, I'm already a sinner, so we know that. Oh, yeah, we're not married. So, all right. So, I'm sitting on the couch, the dog's barking and chuffing and making a fuss. All right, so first thing I do is I shout that he should just shut up. I go, oh my God, shut up, you stupid dog. And then I go to the fridge, I get some milk out of the fridge, drink it out of the carton. Surely, during this time, we've heard the fateful yip noise. At which time I go, oh, what the fuck? So now I'm swearing. And then I go out the back door to the unlit backyard to see what's wrong with the dog.
All right, I'll give you 2 points for that. You would have also gotten a point if instead of saying "shut the fuck up," because that's good and that's definitely a horror movie. But if you said, "What's the matter, boy?" and went to go check and see.
No, see, I'm the real asshole. I'm the first guy to die. I'm the first guy to die. That's why I drank the milk out of the carton.
Okay. So, Eric.
Also, I'm wearing a wife beater.
And nothing else.
Jeans.
Junk hanging out. Trying to intimidate the monster.
Dong to the wind, showing
Tidy
Bruce
whities
Boss.
and Make America Great Again hat.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Eric.
Yes.
You have discovered a strange, glowing, green, pulsating orb. What do you say and do that gets yourself killed?
Well, I found this glowing green pulsating orb out in the woods, I'm guessing.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh man, this looks sweet. And I run up to it and I pick it up and I say, "Holy shit, this is cool. I wonder what this does."
Okay, you've gotten 2 points.
Yay!
I would have also accepted what the hell and slowly reached out to touch it.
Hey, there it is.
I would have picked it up and licked it.
I thought eat it was going to be the answer. Just eat it.
More like Eric, I expected him to start playing hacky sack with it.
I'd be like, this would look bitchin' on top of my Camaro.
It was a bitchin'
Camaro.
All right, now it's going to start getting a little bit harder. James.
Fucking love that song.
James.
Yes.
It is a rainy and windy night. You have walked into a room.
I'm sorry, John. You started that wrong. It
sultry.
It
was a dark and stormy
night.
It was a dark and stormy night. Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a
The
dark...
night was moist.
All right. So it was a dark and stormy night. You walk into a room where the lights are off, and you notice that you have somehow left the window open. What do you do to get yourself killed? This is worth 2 points.
This is interesting. I want to say
that
there's
a secret bonus point in here, too.
Yeah. I would want to say that I would want to try the light for the room, but it doesn't work.
You've gotten the secret bonus point.
Oh, yeah! Sweet. And of course, I might not have brought any weapons, but I might have brought a flashlight. Because, I went through the knife drawer and I grabbed the flashlight.
And it's not one of those big ass mag lights. It's like some plastic piece of shit.
Yeah, it's some tiny piece of shit that constantly shorts
Flickers.
out.
Yeah,
I have to hit it.
Yeah.
And then even though the light won't turn on, I go, that's funny. And then I walk in the room to go to close the window.
All right, James, you've scored the maximum amount of points for that, Rod.
Nice.
Wow.
Very, very good, including the extra secret bonus point.
Yay.
All righty. Chris.
All right.
Okay. You're about to take a bath. What do you do that gets you killed?
About to take a bath. I walk into the bedroom, disrobe, put on a bathrobe. I walk into the bathroom, turn on the shower, the shower curtains close. I don't look in there.
Mm-hmm.
I turn to the sink, open the medicine cabinet, get something out. Hold on.
God.
Close the medicine cabinet. Nothing's happened. Leave the room, come back, disrobe, and step into the shower from my left, facing the wall. So I'm stepping into the shower without actually looking at anything that might possibly be in the shower.
That's great. That's great. I love it. You're going to get full points for that one. I would have also accepted the medicine cabinet, closing it, and then having the figure behind you.
I know you didn't do the reflection.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yep.
Oh,
And
I thought about that, but,
Yep.
I thought you were about to have the whole game.
And
I also would have accepted you turn the faucet on, leave the room, the faucet water stops flowing, and black goo comes out.
Ooh,
that would have been good, too.
Black goo.
Yep. All right, Colin.
Yes.
It is late at night, and you are working in the lab where you work. In a cardboard box is a mysterious egg that a student has found and has brought it to you for examination. How do you get yourself killed?
Okay, well, first of all, in this scene, I'm being played by Rose McGowan. Okay, so that's step one. I'm being played by Rose McGowan, and in this scene, so the student has found the egg, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the first thing is, I disregard the note that's in the box, which has a stain on it of indiscriminate origin. I just crumple it up and throw it in the trash. Close up on the note, it says something like warning or whatever. I don't know. Then what I do is I turn to some other mysterious science task that has not been disclosed, and I focus on that for a while. While a sound comes from the egg, I sort of look over my shoulder and then decide it must be my imagination, because I've been working late. I continue to do my other task, turn around, and am eaten by the alien.
All right. I'll give you 2 points for that.
I'd like to think I got 1 point for being Rose McGowan.
Actually, I am not going to give you a point for that because Rose McGowan doesn't get killed.
Yes, she does. She gets killed in Scream.
Oh, does
She
she?
absolutely does.
I didn't know she was in Scream.
I forgot to mention my nipples are erect. Yes, she absolutely does. She gets killed in the garage door.
Rose McGowan's a garage door.
Oh,
She's trying to escape through the dog door, and she gets killed in the garage door.
Huh.
Oh. All right, I am looking for a very particular phrase here, Eric. The correct phrase will net you 2. The situation will net you 1.
Okay.
So, you are alone in your house, and you hear a noise from upstairs. What do you say, and what do you do that gets yourself killed?
I say, who could that be? I didn't think anyone was home. And then go upstairs to check on who it was. I don't know. I like that's the best I can come up with.
Close.
That's very close.
Is anybody there?
That's the phrase.
Is someone there?
Is anybody
Someone there? Yep.
Okay.
Then, of course, the one comedian, I think I'm going to take a shower.
All right, very close, Eric.
That's all right.
So that's all right. You've done well. All right, now we are in. I have to say, you guys have all been doing really well. The scores are, for all intents and purposes, with the exception of Eric, tied.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
So
I don't
now we
even
know
wanna win
the
this
winner is not Eric.
Good.
So we need a tiebreaker, and I'm going to ask some harder questions now. And these ones you guys are probably not going to get, but on the off chance that you do get it, then you will pretty much win the game. So, James, we are going to start with you. All right. Was that a good blah or a bad
James's
blah?
affirmative.
It's like his Aru. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
All right. James, It's over. The monster is dead. You have finally killed it, and you are now in your car, and you are getting ready to drive away.
You're finally safe from Shia LaBeouf.
You turn on the radio. What song is playing?
Whew. Good God. Now, I want to say there's like something that definitely has a key song, like how Die Hard has Let It Snow. There's something that uses...
I'll also accept the artist.
I'm gonna go against my better judgment and say Rolling Stones Paint It Black.
No, that's not how it happens after the movie ends.
Yeah, it's something nice like Wanderer or...
It's Roy Orbison. All right, Chris, here we go. You ready?
Sure.
All right. Chris, you are a woman. It is night. It is night. And it is a swimming pool, or not a swimming pool, I'm sorry, a lake out in the forest, and you are about to go swimming.
Mm-hmm.
You are all alone. Describe your bathing suit.
Well, what it starts off as is a two-piece. But
I'm sorry.
eventually...
I'm sorry. Let me dial it back. To be fair, to make this a little easier for you.
Okay, the answer is nothing.
Oh, no!
No, that is...
You should have let me finish.
Oh, sorry. No.
You are the hero
of
the movie.
Oh. Wait, I'm the hero and I'm in a pool alone. Middle of the night. Lake.
Yep.
And I'm the hero.
Mm-hmm. You're female. Female hero, lake, middle of the night. Describe your bathing suit.
One piece.
What color?
White.
You win the game. Well, actually, to be fair, let's give Colin a chance to block.
Yep.
But right now, Chris is the winner.
But I was right. If I wasn't the hero, I would be naked.
Yeah.
That is right. You would be naked.
Yes, if you weren't the hero, you'd be
You
naked.
are all right. Now I gotta give me a second to put Colin's question together.
I think now's a good night to start my new practice where I refer to every single police officer as jukebox.
No, James, don't get yourself arrested. All right, Colin, you ready?
Yes.
All right.
What's up, jukebox?
You are approaching the desert town gas station. It has one pump. It is open, but there is not much activity. You and your friends get out of the car on your way to travel to the cabin. This is, once again, how to guarantee that you are going to be killed. But more specifically, when you go into the gas station to pick up some things, what are the 3 things that you buy?
Okay. Box of condoms.
That's 1.
Case of beer.
That's 2.
And a road map.
I would have figured it would have been like chips.
You never saw Wrong Turn?
The roadmap is good. Fireworks is better.
Yeah, I was looking for fireworks.
That would have been solid.
I was thinking road map because in Wrong Turn, one of the things is the road where the cabin is not on the map.
Yep, no, I'm sorry. I was looking for fireworks.
Oh, fuck me.
So close this time, Colin. Chris, it is your turn.
To choose the movie.
Choose the movie.
Shoot. I didn't have one lined up because...
Now, it would be very nice since Colin hasn't won in a recent memory.
This is such bullshit.
Okay. No, I got it. I know exactly what we're going to do. I, Chris Arsenault, am going to be a nice guy and pick a great movie.
Hooray!
I'm kidding. I'll let Colin have it.
Okay, fine. As much as I want to bite my tongue, thanks to Chris's infinite kindness.
Infinite
kindness. Chris is a nice guy who's always right. Next week we'll be reviewing the classic, possibly the greatest buddy movie of all time, Tommy Boy.
Yeah!
Oh my God. I thought this was a sacred cow. I thought we couldn't do it.
It's got to be Tommy Boy. Wow. It's been sitting on my list for a long time.
Nice.
That'll be interesting.
Still have not seen Black Sheep.
Really?
Yeah.
I never saw Black Sheep either.
It's good.
Yeah.
I heard it was basically the same.
Yes, it is.
Which isn't bad. Right. Yeah, that's good. Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, Tommy Boy. That's
Tommy Boy, otherwise known as Black Sheep, with more Rob Lowe. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
A great big thank you to our staff graphic artist, Tabby Walters, the Weekly Cast, and our listeners. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, through YouTube, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. Every third episode is Listener Appreciation, where we choose from your suggestions. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies YouTube channel, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say,
"Tired of putting chemicals in the juice box to turn the friggin' frogs gay!"